The current exhibit at the Historical Museum of Southern Florida is called A Slave Ship Speaks. The slave ship Henrietta Marie is the only active slave ship that's ever been salvaged, so its artifacts give us the most chilling view of what slaves must have endured during their Atlantic crossing. Joining us now is Tinney. Jean is adjunct professor at Miami-Dade Community College. She's also president of the African American Caribbean Cultural Arts Commission. Welcome to the program, Jean.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you here. Now, tell me about some of the artifacts that were found. This ship sunk in 1900, right? Or 1700.
1700. And most of the ship itself, is what's left of it, is still at the bottom of the ocean. Most of the artifacts themselves are tools, parts of the ship, some of the trade goods, a lot of pewterware, trade beads, and the like. But clearly, the most arresting, the most, in fact, the item that really identified the ship for what it is, the iron shackles. Which
we're looking at right now, actually.
Right, right. And the ones we see, the ones that are on display are those that were in the best condition. There were actually over 100 of these salvaged from the wreck. Mm-hmm. And there's no telling what else is there that just hasn't been reached.
Some spoons and
right. Spoons,
eating utensils and things as well?
Exactly, exactly. And the interesting you bring up the eating utensils, because some of those actually still show the knife marks made by members of the crew. So that these artifacts really give us a human dimension that I think is what gives the exhibition, the whole exhibition, its power, is this tangible contact with the direct human experience.
How long did the Atlantic slave trade actually go on for?
Close to 4 centuries, or even more than 4 centuries. Certainly from the mid-1400s until the time of Columbus' voyage, there was a trade between West Africa and Europe, and then a transatlantic trade that didn't end until 1888 when Cuba and Brazil. When
you look at some of the conditions, and certainly the cramped conditions that we just saw in those pictures, and you read about some of the brutality, it's difficult to believe that people actually survived, that they actually made it to shore.
Yes, it is, and in fact, what we see in the exhibit is almost a polite version. You know, it allows us to see into the ship. And more typically, that would have been crowded on both levels, people on that shelf that was built and also on the deck itself. It was not uncommon to have upwards of 500 people in very cramped spaces 3 feet high.
Mm-hmm. What do you hope to accomplish with an exhibit like this?
I think what this does is it takes it out of just imagination and stereotypes and cut and dried formulas, and makes us see the actual hard evidence of what happened, what cannot be changed or denied. Mm-hmm. and again, the human dimension, that, you know, we start realizing that these were real people with lives, and each individual involved had a story, whether they were an African captive or a crew member, and that it makes us connect with that individual, which of course is our own role in this. Once we get this knowledge, what do we do with it? Do we use the lessons learned from this to create something better and, you know, more enlightened than the conditions that those people participated in? Mm-hmm. So I think that just making that tangible physical contact with something that, almost like the Rosewood story, that has just been sort of in the margins.
Pushed away, yeah.
Yeah, is a huge accomplishment in itself.
Mm-hmm. And just to keep in touch with history so that we're never doomed to repeat it.
Exactly.
Jean Tinney, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.